I run a fair and clean business, and I will fight till my last breath to prove that.
These are dangerous times and we have to adapt. It's not like when we...
A Most Violent Year is a crime drama set in 1981 New York, a time when crime in the Big Apple was at an all-time high. The story is of an immigrant business owner named Abel, who runs a successful up-and-coming fuel business. All he needs to do now to cement his place in the big leagues is close the deal on this one piece of valuable property. However, said price is steep, and if he can't, he will lose everything he's ever worked for. Despite going in with high confidence, though, Abel will learn that despite the promises of the American dream saying anyone from anywhere can make it legitimately, the reality of the matter can be far grimmer than we wish to believe. The premise of the film is actually a very intriguing one that can easily get your hopes up for the experience. Unfortunately, though, it fails to live up to the potential it holds. The film puts far too much emphasis on the central character, Abel, which really does make it feel too enclosed within itself. It is Abel's story, true, but it makes the supporting cast and the world it takes place in feel weak and underdeveloped. The whole film just feels like a series of loosely connected events that just sorta happen and then go away, making the pacing feel somewhat confusing and frustrating. You have no idea if you're at the beginning of the story, in the middle, near the ending, and you are either hoping it's near the end or you just don't even care. Speaking of near the end, the climax of the film ends up being a real underwhelming and confusing disappointment. I will say though, credit where credit is due, the acting in this movie is very solid. Each character gives a compelling and believable performance, especially Oscar Isaac as Abel. And the writing and dialogue are equally solid. You really do find yourself invested in the people and their conversations in this film. Still, that makes it all the more disappointing when you see just how little it ultimately amounts to by the end. Ultimately, despite a compelling cast and decent writing, A Most Violent Year is sadly, in this critic's opinion, a most underwhelming film and is not worth the price of admission.